two kinds of companies have a distinct advantage in today's world when it comes to employer branding and their ability to attract the kind of talent that not only they want, but basically the entire market wants access to. And I'll posit that those two kinds of companies are technology companies and publicly listed companies. Both are competitive at the compensation level, which is really where the point of this conversation will go. But technology also has that advantage of being in the sweet spot, at least in today's age, where there's excitement and there's an industry sexiness to being in technology. So not only can technology companies typically compensate at the top end of the spectrum, but they also have that industry sexiness or that industry appeal that attracts the best kind of talent. On the other side, we've got publicly listed companies. These companies are typically magnets to great talent because of their ability to pay out in equity. In this article in Yahoo Finance, it highlights a company called Zscaler. And the whole premise of the article is that there's a $40 billion tech company, Zscaler, that feels it has a secret weapon to attract workers. And the CEO is quoted as saying that, okay, they've hired a third of their 3,100 workers in the last year in this hyper-competitive environment. And the CEO feels that their secret weapon is their ability to hand out stock options, which is great, of course. And a little bit of background, this is a $40 billion market cap company, cloud security. So you're seeing there, we've got the makings of a technology company that's publicly listed, inherently attractive to most workers anyway. The stock is up 81% this year. And that's outpaced the Nasdaq composite, which is up 29%. So well above your market returns. But not all companies have this kind of setup. In fact, majority of companies don't have this setup where they're in technology and they are publicly listed. So as practitioners of employer brand and as leaders of companies that are not as large as this, for example, what can we do? What's the lesson that we can draw? Or what's the insight that we can take away to ensure that we can compete at as high a level of talent acquisition as you can? And the idea that comes to mind, of course, there's flexibility. We can always appeal to the market in terms of flex time and those kind of tactical measures that will work. They definitely do work. But a larger kind of strategic idea that really there isn't a large barrier to entry is to accept that your company is a place where people will not hang around for 5, 10, 15 years, and to set it up as a company that is the best launch pad in your industry or in the space for people to move on to whatever long-term goals that they have. That seems to be a position that not a lot of companies take on, because there is a level of thoughtfulness and execution that needs to happen in order to do that. But I think that there's definitely some white space on the graph there where companies that are in competitive markets that need access to great talent that maybe don't have the ability to lean on technology or equity plans can separate themselves. And so what does that mean? How do you build a program or an employer brand that speaks to being the best launch pad in your industry? Well, I think it starts with understanding what people want out of their careers. And, maybe that's looking at your own resume appeal. So how does your company look to other companies if they see it, on a resume? Is there a net benefit to the candidate or to the employee of having worked there? So what measures can you put in place to increase your resume appeal? Also, maybe things around education or professional development. How can your organization stand up best-in-class support around helping people develop the skills that they want to develop? Maybe they don't speak to what the company needs right now, but it speaks to passion or it speaks to an interest that the employee has. And how can your company really support those kind of measures? And I think that's another area that companies can really stand up a best-in-class employer brand around progression. And then finally, is there anything that you can do as an organization that helps the individual feel like they have ownership over some part of the business? It doesn't have to be the main business line. One great tactic that I've seen and I've been exposed to is handing individuals that have the ability or have the passion for certain interest, help them go and develop their ideas, help them go and develop different practices within your business that speak to their growth, and allow them to practice skills that they don't maybe have access to or have the opportunity to practice in their day-to-day jobs, but give these individuals the opportunity to grow in the direction that they want to grow. And I think you're starting to see a potent mixture there of three factors that can really separate your company as a launch pad. So really honing in on professional development and education, looking at the company from the point of view of letting the individuals practice the skills that they need. And finally, what measures can you put in place as management of your organization to slowly chip away at and improve the resume appeal of your organization? Those three things I think will stand an employer brand in good stead going forward.